Welcome in, Chiefs Kingdom. We know that you're happy after that win against the Washington football team, and we're going to go through all of your questions tonight on the weekly Q&A. It is Monday night at 6 Central. We have a lot to talk about and a lot coming from the Tennessee Titans as well. Hope you guys are ready. Welcome to RGR Football. Welcome back, Chiefs fans. We're going to get to Dan here in just a second, but it has been a very, very interesting start to the season. I know it's been up and down, but I want you to get back with our friends from DraftKings because the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL is back, and they're putting new customers at the center of the action with free shots at millions. You can still get in on the action. It's simple. Just pick your lineup, stay under that salary cap. That's really important, and keep your team so that they can find out how they stack up against all of your competition. Feel the NFL action like never before with a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. And the best part is that you can deposit and withdraw cash whenever you want. It's all up to you. Download the DraftKings app now and use the code RGR21. This week, customers can get a free shot at millions. You can get all kinds of other cash prizes as well. Enter that code RGR21 and get a free shot right now with your first deposit. That's code RGR21, only at DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. Make sure there's a $5 minimum deposit is required, and eligibility restrictions do apply. See DraftKings.com for all the details. Now, that said, it's worth putting a little bit of chances down on somebody that you trust, like my guy, Dan Harms. We're going to bring him in right now. How are you, Dan?
I'm doing good. You guys. It's nice to be here on a Victory Monday after an improvement of sorts. So that's really all that matters to me, just seeing little bits at a time going forward, and then you can figure out how the team goes. Like, that's all you got to do.
Yeah, I'm feeling like that too. We got a good crowd in here already. Nice to see you guys. I know it's before Monday Night Football. There are several ways to support the channel. I see that some people have already started. So if you would like to, you could super chat us over here. It's really simple to get in there. And if you do, we will say thank you and we appreciate it. But if you do, please ask a question, because tonight is all about you guys. If you want to direct one too, if you don't want to hear me answer something and you just want to hear it from Dan, just put that in there. But when you ask your question, whether it's a super chat or not, put the question marks at the beginning. That will certainly help, although the super chats do pop out a little bit easier to me. And you could also join the memberships if you guys missed it. The picks went up today. It was a little bit late because we had some tech difficulties, but it was before the Monday night game, so you can check that out. Along with all the other member series that are only available to the members. You got to be a rookie or above, so you can click that join button that's over there underneath Dan, and we'll have that for you. Now, again, we're going to answer all your questions. We're going to tell you about some of the new merch probably in the next week or two, but I want to get straight into it. There's a lot of questions here, and Christo had a good one to start with. How do you feel about Tyron in the Twitter comments? What percentage of that do you give that he'll get another contract? Is that all of a sudden in question now to you, Dan?
I think it's kind of been in question for a little bit, but I think that they're going to find a way to get it done, whether it comes down to a last minute thing on the organization side or not. He feels disrespected by a lot of the radio hosts, the local media. He feels very disrespected. And if you guys remember earlier this season, we talked specifically about why people seem to think that Matthew has been taking a downturn this year. Is because he's had to cover up so many holes. He has to be everywhere for the Chiefs at once because they didn't have Juan Thornhill on the field. But want to know what happened yesterday? They put Juan Thornhill for 100% of the snaps. And look, you see Matthew all over the field. Weird. Mind-boggling. It's insane. Like, are we serious about this stuff? This is ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. Like, the whole not getting it done before the season surprised me. I expected him to be under extended contract by now. And that does call into some question. But I think at the end of the day, I think Tyron, much like Tom Brady does, he uses that so-called disrespect in order to fuel himself. And I've had a lot of people ask about, does this put a different spin on the contract extension? I don't think that it does, because at the end of the day, even if the antics that we've seen the media complain about, that he's pretty disrespected about, I can understand that. Even if the team feels that way, they're still going to ride with that so long as the team responds, and I felt that the team responded to him in particular. They came out at half. I thought they put it back together, and I thought that was a big part of it. I do think that whether the team feels it or whether the media feels it, or even if the fan base feels it, none of that matters at the end of the day. It's about the guys in the locker room, and if they respond to him in a positive way and shut things down like they did in the second half, that's what it all comes down to, and that will determine whether he is back or not.
I'd be willing to bet he was one of the first people to tell Patrick, just be you. I'd be willing to bet a lot of money that he was one of the first people to do that. So I'm totally with you. I think that at the end of the day, they have to understand that Matthew brings the second most respect in that locker room outside of Patrick Mahomes. It's Patrick Mahomes, and then it's Tyrann Mathieu. That's what it is.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, it's what it boils down to, too.
Yeah.
There's no other way around it. FLDB, thank you very much. You'll start it off. Thank you. How is your Monday going? And hit the like, everyone. Thank you. If you would like and sub and hit the bell, especially if you're new, we appreciate that. FLDB, thank you very much. It's been a lot. NFL draft show didn't quite go as smoothly as I had hoped last night. My co-host had a lot of travel trouble, so I had to do that solo, and it carried over till this morning and all the kinds of stuff. So I've had Spencer Rattler on my brain for half the day, but I'm sure he's got a lot of thinking to do as well. Have you been solid here after a win, bud?
I've been great. It's been kind of fun looking at Twitter today. I'm not gonna lie, I get kind of irritated with some of the stuff that goes on there, but seeing the Tyrann Mathieu like coming at people, like this has been so great for me. Not just him, Chris Jones coming at people. Like this was exactly the kind of energy that they had when they won the Super Bowl. Like this is the kind of I know it's weird because people want to talk about stay off social media and stuff like that, but I think a lot of these guys generate some energy and feel like they're disrespected from social media. So at the same time, like, yeah, it sucks that people are talking bad about both like Chris Jones and Matthew, but I think they get something out of it at the end of the day. I think it helps motivate them. And I love seeing it myself, because if you're calling out Chris Jones for not playing and then he just comes right back at you like that makes me happy. Like that makes me really happy as a person to watch that unfold and to see people just pile on. So I'm a kind of a cynic that way. So it's just kind of how it is.
Okay. Hey, you get what you get out of it, right? Michael, Willie snap count, I think they're just being overly cautious. That needs to come to an end. I'll tell you that right now.
Yep.
Both Nick Bolton and Ben Niemann played more than double Willie snaps. That's got to come to an end right now. Dan, I'm gonna let you take this one because I know you brought it up earlier. Thank you, Joe. Yeah. We appreciate it. Yeah, there's a number of questions here, you guys. I'm not ignoring you. We're just going to cover the merciless thing here all at once.
Yes.
What do you got, Dan? Talk to me.
Whitney, the Chiefs should have been on the phone before the Texans released him to inquire about his availability, because they're clearly tanking. And the Chiefs have zero pass rush. They have zero help at defensive end. Alex Okafor can't do it. He's just not able to do anything anymore. You have Mike Dana out there doing everything he can. And Frank Clark, I think, took a step forward yesterday. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't great, but he took a step forward. You still don't have Chris Jones. And if you want to play him more at defensive tackle, this helps you do it. You go get him, find a way to get it done. That way you can make Chris Jones do what he does best. If he's getting penetration on run and passing downs, he's more likely to make plays. That's just my thing. I think he should not be playing defensive end anymore. This is how you make that happen.
That would be a viable option. Right now, without an addition, I wouldn't do it, because I think you need an end that can get home.
Yeah.
Right now, plenty of pressure yesterday. Nobody got home. Yeah. That's part of the issue. Great question, Joe, and thank you for bringing it up. I know a lot of other folks were asking about that. JC, I think we already talked about the big one is getting Willie Gay on the field more. Willie's going to make mistakes, you guys. He's a sophomore linebacker that didn't play the whole season as a rookie. But his mistakes are still going to be exponentially better than what you see from Ben Niemann. That's the end of the story.
Yep. That, and then whenever Charvarius Ward gets healthy, I think he and Rashad Fenton should be the starting role in 3 corner. Obviously, you'll see. I even think that Fenton should be playing with L'Jarius Sneed in the base. I think that he's better than Ward and Mike Hughes at this point. So it should be Sneed and Fenton as these starting corners, and then Ward comes in when they go to nickel. That's what I think should happen.
Yeah, I agree. Jeremy, why do we bring the ball out deep in the end zone to get the ball to the 25 or often get a penalty to make it worse? It's because there's decision making that goes into it, and McCole needs to continue to develop on that one because that punt
No,
return
that
was it
wasn't
at the
McCole.
5 or whatever. No,
You're
I'm talking.
kick
I'm talking about.
returns.
I'm talking about the fair. The fair catch there. It all goes back to the fact that you have to be situationally aware. I think there's aspects missing of that, especially in the return game.
I think Tobe tells Byron Pringle, if you're not up against the back of the end zone like 90% of the time, you return
go.
It. Just go.
It's a roll of the dice, and you have to figure that Mahomes will get you out of a hole if you don't get very far, right? Jeff, thank you for that. Folks, if you missed it, I was gone for a while. Oh, wait, you probably noticed that. I just want to say a quick thank you to the people down there of Nassau in the Bahamas. They were super gracious. A lot of Chiefs fans, by the way. That's awesome. I walked around town in red and gold, I got a lot of comments. So I hope that you all are doing well. And it's very calm down there right now. There's a lot of travel that is missing from them, and it's hurting their economy, and folks are really happy to see people. So just want to throw that out. Thanks, Jeff. Let's see. How do you guys think the O-line is doing so far? What did you think of the change in particular for Remmers?
I think Remmers did a good job. Exactly what he's done. Like whenever he's been placed at right tackle, he's been fine. And yeah, you're going to have some losses against the guys that they have in Washington. They have a lot of guys they can play at defensive end. They can rotate from defensive tackle on out and give you guys trouble. So I think he was called upon and did pretty well. I had no issues, outside of some of the bull rushes. But again, like that's never been something he's very good at. He's got shorter arms, so he lets guys get in a little bit more than they should. But I think he held his own, and collectively they played very well. I think that you could see some pressures, but the only times they had free rushers were a few different times. I saw one blitz, a nickel off the side that Mahomes didn't pick up immediately, and some things here and there. But I think collectively they played very well.
Hey, Keys.
Hi, Steven. Hey, how's it going?
Thanks for the super chat.
Thank you, guys.
We answered Didi's. What do we have next? Again, folks, if you put question marks at the beginning of your question, like Aeon Spirit did here, I'm very happy with Juan's performance. Not only was he like in the third highest grades on PFF, which again, take PFF grades with a heavy grain of salt, but he played the entire game, as did Snead, Fenton, and Matthew. So a nice quartet there. But here's the thing. He had that one, he came downhill really well from a deep safety spot. And on the day, he allowed -1 yards.
Yep.
That tells you what Juan Thornhill can do. I'm very happy with that. And again, he wasn't stressed deep. He didn't have guys getting behind the corners a lot where he had to make decisions. But for what it was, his first game at 100%, I was really happy with it.
Yeah, even that same play you were talking about when he comes down on that screen, even if Bolton doesn't kind of hold up the receiver, Thornhill's coming. He's laying the hammer because he was almost at full sprint coming downhill. So yeah, you'd like the click and close ability there. You like seeing him see things unfold. Multiple times I rewatched the game this morning. I saw him being able to kind of navigate and see things coming better. Oh, hi. We have a guest. Hello.
Awesome. Hey, lady. Oh, she's got a penguin or a raccoon or something?
That is a penguin, yeah.
Sweet. Rock and roll. Well, she looks pretty quick. And Brendan, thank you for the super chat. He says that Mahomes looks pretty quick too. I would agree with you, and particularly knowing when to run in the second half. I felt he was conscious of getting the ball out quicker, at hitting his spot and getting the ball out off that back foot and get the ball gone and just hit it. Stop trying to make every play something that you wait on something to develop so you can make a huge play. I thought he was better at that. I thought the second half adjustment from whatever was said by whoever said it, I thought it'd make a big difference. And I think it was a turning point, not only in the game, but in the season.
Yeah, he looked better at finding those running lanes too. And I know that he's not looked the best. People want to say he doesn't look the fastest. But I think, like you said, the decisiveness to see it coming down, you're going to get those two high shells, kind of doing a much better job of seeing them unfold, knowing where the pressure's initially coming from, rolling out, and then making that decision. So he's done a better job.
Yeah. Terry, I don't know if they are, but the merciless thing, as we said, I think might open that up. Alex, thank you for the super chat very much. I think they give it a shot. Again, it's about money. I think someone will have to be cut in order to afford it. There are options. We'll I'm just saying. Zach, you said the same thing. Holly, hi Dan.
Hi Holly. Thank you guys so much for so much attention, so much love. I appreciate it.
Will you take Michael's here?
Yeah, of course. So we got a question from Michael. Patrick Mahomes' second half adjustments of getting in rhythm and not as many bad decisions came from what it had. I think a lot of it has to do with getting in a rhythm. that rhythm was broken when Tyreek Hill jump off his hands in the interception. That rhythm kind of came apart. And I know that it's not something you can quantify with any actual like data, but that kind of stuff can throw a team off. And if we really just went downhill after that would be interception, Mahomes made that bad decision on 3rd and 2 to he initially drops the ball and then he tries to get out and make a throw when he didn't have to. A lot of these things pile up. I think the confidence that the teammates coming in and saying, just be who you are, do what you do, and just continue to be the quarterback that you are, gives him confidence, because at a certain point, when people are still dropping passes and they end up interceptions, like, you're starting to like think, what's going on? What am I supposed to do differently here? And even if it wasn't his fault, I think that had a huge impact on the way he played, and getting that confidence boost from his entire team, just telling him to be who he is, can click and just make a huge impact. And I think that you saw it in the second half. He just started to get the ball out more decisively and trusted himself way more.
Yeah, I agree. Hi, Miss Holly. Hope you're doing well. Albone, I think that's how you say it. Albono.
Yeah.
Albono. Yeah, I think we both feel the same way, that we need to see Fenton more. We see him having success, and I think he and Snead are integral in stopping Mike Williams when they have to see the rematch with the Chargers. That's going to be important.
Yeah,
Patrick,
be very important.
How are you? Bill Bond, what do you got here? Oh, this is one for you, Dan. Is 55 TDs and 18 interceptions VIP worthy?
Yeah, so I think that it's going to depend on record and things like yardage total as well. But I do believe that Mahomes, even with 18 picks, if they continue to say they win from this point out the rest of the season, obviously it's a hypothetical situation, but that will be an MVP type season, even with 18 picks. I don't think he's going to have 18 picks though.
Okay. So. This is not clicking for some reason. I'm having trouble showing the comments here, so I'm going to move on. Maybe. Oh, there we go. Thoughts on Creed being PFF's highest rated center? Happy surprise. I thought he was going to be good. To be that good, I'm pleasantly surprised.
Me too. And I will eat that crow from saying I would have rather had Quinn Miners earlier in the offseason. So yeah, I'm totally happy with that.
Yeah, Quinn is not adjusting as well, is he?
Nope, he's not, and that's unfortunate.
It really is. I think we have some delay here. Guys, I'm going to try to work that out. Do you think the Chiefs are thriving the fact that they're getting counted out so much? I think they will. Do you think they are yet, Dan?
I still think teams, and specifically people in the media, don't really ever count them out. They've had a lot of bad luck, and their offense is literally one of the best in the NFL still. So I think that everyone knows that they can just kind of turn it on and go, and they showed that again in the second half. So teams are still going to say that respect what they're doing, and you're going to see more of that this season.
Yeah. Thank you, Dave, for the super chat. One of the old schoolers OGs around here. Is this a tide turning with Bolton, Gay, and Thornhill? I don't know that I'm ready to say that until Bolton and Gay take over, and they can be not only the guys that start, but the guys that actually perform. I think it is for Thornhill, especially if what we were talking about earlier with Matthew doesn't work out with an extension. He doesn't stay in town next year. They have to get Thornhill, or they have to completely rebuild the safety position.
They're going to have to. And I like I said, we both of you and I believe that he'll be here going forward for the next couple of years. I think that's very important to the success of this defense. But yeah, Thornhill is kind of extremely important to the success of everything. And you saw it yesterday. The trust factor that he brings to that secondary is immense. And that definitely played out yesterday.
Scott, no news on Hitchens yet. We should have an update from Andy tomorrow, I believe. They had rehab today, and he was scheduled for an MRI, as I understand it, but I didn't see any results yet.
Nope.
Michael, is Brown declining or just a bad game? I thought he actually played pretty well. I don't think he allowed but maybe 2 pressures. Let me look.
Yeah, I didn't think that he had a bad game either. Maybe my eyes lied to me. Like I said, I watched it again today, and I didn't see anything stand out a whole lot. I think he did a good job jump setting, which is pretty much his strength in this offense. And yeah,
I think it was an optical illusion. He is the only guy that allowed pressure according to PFF yesterday. It was 2 hits, 2 contacts with Patrick. But no, Mike, I don't think it's anything to be concerned about. I think Chase Young is one of the better young rushers. So to have that be the case, I'm very comfortable with that. And I think in another couple of games, you're going to see Orlando really get in the swing of this offense.
It's me too.
Jeremy, why can we not figure out how to pass protect a tight end? Tight end shouldn't be pass protect. Oh, blow coverage against it. Yeah. Cover one. Yeah. Because they keep trying to do as Dan Sorensen. And when they didn't, they tried to do with Ben Neiman. That's the thing. I think it's a player capability issue, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. They also bet
Rich. Well, yeah. I mean, what are you going to do?
It's going to happen.
Rich, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. Info question. When Patrick comes to the line of scrimmage and points at a player on the D, which player is he identifying and why? You want to take that?
That's a tough one, because for me, I'm still like learning the nuances of play calling and things like that. So typically you have your center call your basic reads, and then it goes to the quarterback to call out whether he's going to see someone blitzing. If he sees someone coming that maybe the center didn't see, he's trying to point out maybe where you should be sliding, and if he's going to be coming, if he thinks he's going to be showing blitz, or if he thinks he's maybe going to come back out and not blitz. So like, that's the extent of what I know. I know there's a way more that I still don't fully grasp yet, but that's what I have for you.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the base. It's working with the center, because the center's narrow field of vision makes some things that defenses do only suspectable to the quarterback, and so he's adjusting that. They're calling the middle backer most of the time, who's the middle of the defense, because especially in zone runs or pass block, you want to know where the center of that is, whether you're going to have to shift left or right, because of the way the defense is aligned, and that's what's allowing the communication between the quarterback and the center. A very good question, Rich, and honestly, It happens every play, and you have to have that. Let's see. Dr. Sanitary, how are you, Josh? Do you think that the lack of Josh Gordon snaps yesterday was because he didn't feel comfortable throwing to him in the fire during the first half struggles, despite desperation for a win?
That's a pretty good question. I'm still more of the opinion with Ryan that he's still not fully integrated into the offense. I know he's come out and said that this is basically the offense that he ran with what's his name? I just had it and I lost. I can even see his face. I'm not gonna be right. When he was with
guy with a name with stuff.
Yeah, the guy with the name. Someone's in the chat can help me out. I'm losing it. But so a previous coach that we used to work on the staff, and he played with in Cleveland. It's not the exact same thing, but again, it's the base stuff that's the same. But this is his second game being active, and you're still learning all the nuances. And with how much the Brad Childress. Thank you, Terry. Brad Childress. So the way that the receivers and the tight ends are given free reign to kind of read the defense and adjust their routes accordingly with Mahomes, I don't think Josh Gordon's right there yet. And that's why you're seeing him not play as much.
I agree with you. Canadian Chief, thank you, sir. Dan, can you take a look at Gordon? I just don't see any separation from him and defenders.
He's never going to be a guy that creates a whole lot of separation at this point in his career. That part is now past him. He's going to be a guy you use on the slants that you already have leverage created in your advantage. You take advantage of some deep balls down the field, a guy who can win some possession. That's what you brought him in for. You didn't bring him in to be Sammy Watkins and create separation downfield. You bring him in to create what Jody Fortson did yesterday and go get a football. Like, that's what he's here for.
Yep. And I hope to see that soon. I think it'll take a little longer, but we'll get there. Julio, can Frank make a difference with the way he played Sunday? I think the volume that he played was good. He got 4 pressures, which was tied for the team lead, but he didn't get home, and he wasn't a force. So I think it's a good start, but I think we need more out of him, definitely.
Yeah. You're seeing an uptick, I think, from the Bills game to this game, which is all you can ask for.
Yeah.
And it's all I'm caring about right now with his play.
Jamie, in our minds, Fenton has jumped Hughes on the depth chart. He should be the third corner.
Let's hope so.
Let's see. Alex, Chiefs are reportedly looking for bringing someone that's reports is a little thin. I've seen rumor from bloggers. That's all I've seen.
That's all we got, man.
So keep it thin. While we think it's probably a good idea, we don't have it on anyone who actually knows anything. So hold your breath. Was that the most uninspiring 18-point victory in NFL history?
Probably not most uninspiring, but it was, especially the way they played in the second half. It just kind of fell on them, and that's all it was.
Yeah. Patrick, good question. So far for Orlando Brown, is he worth 18 to 20 million? I would say not quite yet, but I think he will be by the end of the season. And quite frankly, it's going to be more like 23 million.
Yeah, that's the problem. And that's why they should have just brought him in and extended him, because now they're giving him leverage and but yeah, it's if he can up his game, it will be worth it. Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Aaron. Folks, the Mod Father's in the house and our resident statistician,
up,
Jeff
Aaron?
Porter's in the house. Give them a hand, will you? You can see them make their
Very
picks
much.
if you become a member. I'm just telling you. Go hit the rookie memberships. Oscar Banks, why do you think the Chiefs don't want Mahomes, a very accurate rollout passer, to be who he is, just like Hall of Famers Young and Favre? Quite frankly, because they can't afford to lose him. Is there another reason, Dan?
They're also not very good at rollouts. Like whenever they do a rollout, no one gets open. Defenses kind of see it coming. The rollouts have been very just Like if you go watch Dak and the Cowboys, when they do rollouts, the guys are getting wide open. To end the game against the Patriots, Dak rolls out, CeeDee Lamb's just open down the field. This defenses know what they're doing. Like they don't. The rollout is typically allowing Patrick time to find somebody deep. If they're playing deep coverage, you're not going to find those guys deep. So the rollout game is just kind of, it doesn't really work because it's not meant to do anything in the short area, really.
Now, if they go back to running more level type route concepts where you have guys that are breaking across the field, it'll go to it. That's what happened on that nifty pass to Tyreek.
Yes.
If he hadn't been cutting away from him, that pass doesn't happen. There's nowhere to go. So it pays off when it can, but it really is about ad-libbing for Patrick. Jeldrick, I like the way that you're talking.
Please.
I hope that Spags listens to you because at least, I mean, I am not even kidding. The first drive, I come out in a bare front with the center guard covered and Saunders behind the line. That's what I do.
But he dropped him into coverage from the defense tackle spot a couple times yesterday too. So maybe he's just getting him ready. Maybe he's getting him ready.
Maybe. And Colin even retweeted that picture I put up last year of him as a linebacker. So like maybe there's something going on we don't know about, Deldrick. I hope you're right.
I would love it. I would love it.
Sean, call me crazy. I would rather see DOD on the field on the regular defense instead of Neiman. As long as they don't have a capable running back, I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, does he
DOD
play defense anymore?
Right?
Do they just give him the playbook?
If not worse against the run than Neiman is against the pass.
Like, do they just say, look, you're going to be a special teams guy. You don't even need the playbook because we don't want you to. If we are going out there, you're going to be a spy, or we're going to say you cover this guy. You don't need to know the playbook.
Right. That's very
I just don't get it.
Stevie, congratulations. I think that's Daryl. Yep, on a 9-month All-Pro membership. We appreciate that, you guys.
Thank you.
We have a number of year anniversaries that folks are coming on, and we're very thankful, you guys. You keep this show running. And for everybody that's joined us and everybody that works on this channel now, we couldn't do it without you because we all need resources. We all need software and stuff like that. So thank you. Let's see. Josh, do you think that Josh Gordon snaps? Oh, okay. Covered that one. I'm just too slow, Josh. I've enjoyed your channel for years. Much respect. And that being said, last week with Solo, Dan, and Seth was great. Any chance of more of that in the future? I think in just a couple days, you're going to see Dan live all on his own.
Yes, I will be doing a live show on Wednesday night. We're going to go back to doing the live film review for you guys. And I'm hoping that you guys enjoy it again because I love doing that. Like that's so much fun for me. It's different than recording a video. And when I get to like interact and show and teach at the same time, like that makes me happy. It's something that's like really cool. And I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it too. So thank you very much. There will be more of that in the future.
Yeah. And Bradley, would you please say that to Seth on Thursday too? Seth's he's not as comfortable with the technology. He's a little hesitant. And quite frankly, we brought Seth on because we don't get to hang out anymore. And Seth and I used to do a show together that we really enjoyed. So I'm going to keep appearing with him, but there will definitely be times in the future where he'll be solo again. He just has to get a little more comfortable with it. But if you would reinforce that, I would appreciate it. And quite frankly, it allows us all to get our licks in without having to share the mic like we do on these nights.
I do enjoy them, though. Don't get me wrong. It's fun.
Yeah, it's just hard to get everything done. It's hard to answer every question, like Ryan's, Dan. Do you think it was a coincidence the second half was better because Gay was in?
I don't think Gay played that much in the second half, but I think that the second half was better just because everyone kind of got on the same page. Like Patrick had his confidence back. They had a swagger to them, and I think that as just as much anything was just as good as they could be. And even in the first half, that touchdown, they played really well in the first half. Like, yeah, I got no issues with the way that they played. outside of that one drive. And I think that the defense was just much better, much more assignment prone, which is exactly what you need.
I'm with you. Scott, I was pretty happy with Daryl. I like what he brings. Dan prefers Clyde. He doesn't like Daryl's lack of elite burst, and I can understand that.
It's not even so much that. I like Daryl for what he is. And we talked about this a lot. I have no issues with him as a player. I just see he had like 25 touches and didn't even get 100 yards. Like he's got grinder. Like that's what he does. And he did a great job at doing that on Sunday. I just think that that Clyde can bring more to the table. I think he does bring more to the table.
And I hope that he proves that too. And like you said, if he can do more with less carries, more power to him. That's why he's the starter, you guys. Ryan, the final straw for Spags was the fact that Dan blew multiple plays, not just by missing a tackle. Honestly, it was the Knox thing, by just giving up on the play and lose. And for an 8-year veteran that's 31 years old, you should never lose sight of what you're supposed to be doing.
Man coverage. Can't do that. Can't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to go into what I really think, you guys. You have to listen to me cuss on the member side of this channel. BF26, thank you for the super chat. Channels like this is why I stopped watching ESPN. You guys are chief channel, but keep it professional. Have no sensationalism. I appreciate that. We try very hard for that. People get upset when I become a fan. I don't let it out very often. Dan's better at it than I am.
I'm learning that I shouldn't be live tweeting so much like during the games. It's going to get me in trouble. It's going to. So I'm going to save it for some special thing. We're going to sprinkle it in a little bit. I'm not going to be doing what I have been because, like I said, it'll get me in trouble.
Yeah. Should we bring a linebacker, and who would you get?
There's nobody. There's nobody out there, guys.
When KJ went to the Raiders, it was pretty much over for me for the free agent market.
So they're pretty much SOL.
JP, team looks overall better, but the margin for error still seems very small, even against a good team. If Fitz was the QB and made some of the throws TH missed, Tyler Heineke, sorry, could have been a different game. And that's fair. He also had a couple of drops from his receivers that didn't help him either,
Taylor Heineke also avoided pressure way better than Ryan Fitzpatrick can. And maybe some of those turn into sacks instead of throwaway or incomplete pass. So I think you're kind of, and we essentially, a lot of people sensationalized the whole Ryan Fitzpatrick thing. He's about the same quarterback. I think Taylor Heineke's a better quarterback than Ryan Fitzpatrick is. So as much as I think that maybe he hits some of those throws, I think he makes worse throws later in the game too.
Fair enough. Alex, any update on Kelsey? I haven't seen anything. Have you, Dan?
No, I think he's going to be just fine because he plays through everything. Just the kind of gamer he is.
Alan DeJong, thank you. And I saw from down under. I'm glad you're here, Alan. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to go out of their way and put Saunders in there as a linebacking game stopper. I don't think they're going to play a bear front, which I think they should. I think they're going to take their chances and try to rally as a team tackle, and they're going to let him eat them up. I think they're more concerned about the pass. AJ, do they play tonight? Is it?
They do.
AJ's
play tonight,
out, I think.
No, he's playing. He's on a snap count.
Okay, gotcha.
But he's got an injury, a sickness. Like, it's not going well for him right now.
They're very concerned about the pass and less against the run. If Derrick Henry breaks multiple runs or runs for scores, they're going to have to change that up, and they have to get serious about stopping the run. This is going to be another game where I throw stuff at the TV, you guys. You don't want to be here.
It'll be interesting.
Oh, let's see. Ryan White, I'm not skipping you. I just know that there's a lot of other questions. I want to make sure that we get to all of them, but I want to cover this one. What do you think of the Chiefs coaching staff self-scouting process? Reed said that they grade every play, but that was pretty vague. I do know that they self-scout. I know that they have quality coaches for bringing in tape for the other teams and making that process. They have to do that. Every team does. How detailed they get, we will never know until we're in the room.
I'm hoping I'll get to find out someday, but it's going to be vague, especially with this coaching staff. They're always very, very vague about the stuff they do behind the scenes.
And Ryan, I'm glad that you're watching the pressers because they do give you hints as to what they do on some of that. Go back and watch Dave Merritt's from last week. It was very, very telling about how they go about looking for things. And things like this, where you're talking about a throw, it's about how they went through the process, and they know what they coached him to do.
Mhm.
And so it's very much so, did he follow the rules that they set forward as well? Stuff, again, that we just won't know. Jeremy, is there a bad Mahomes pick? That's bad. Mahomes pick will be none as the turning point. Okay.
Known.
Okay, take it. You do so much
Yeah.
better at interpreting.
So yeah, I do think that pick is going to be known as a turning point for this season, because it jet started the offense. In my opinion, it let Mahomes kind of feel a little vulnerable at the moment. Like he felt so he had to do everything because his defense was so bad. The defense played better in that game. His team all picked him up. I think that gave him the confidence that he kind of had been lacking these last couple of games. As much as you're the best quarterback on the planet, you still need that confidence from your team. And I think that this one pick, it as bad as it was, is going to help him in the long run.
Mm-hmm. AC30, great amp, by the way. Hitchens interim playing poorly. Is it time for Bolton to take the reins at MLB position in the base formation? I mean, yes, he has to while he's injured. They will go right back to Hitch when he's back, though. They will not go away from Anthony Hitchens.
I don't think that Bolton's ready to call plays 100% of the time yet either. So,
and that's a fair. That's why Ben Neiman was in there, you guys.
Yeah,
because they do trust him. Thinking a year ahead, is Fenton the most likely to be re-signed in 2019 draft class if he keeps playing like this? I don't know if he's the most likely. He'll definitely be re-signed, though.
Yes, they will keep him.
Okay, I want to make sure I'm not skipping. Got Alex's. Okay, Williams. I want to make sure I can put you guys on the screen when you ask good questions. Yeah. And unfortunately, I missed two. So William Bradley asked, and I'm sorry I can't show it to you, William. Apologies. So I become known as the – oh, no, that's the next one. Do you think Bolton is capable of wearing the green dot? Again, tying into the last question. Is there anything other than future coach Neiman can handle those duties? What do you think?
So I think that right now, I don't think he's ready to be the green dot. I think if he does end up playing mostly the middle linebacker, I think that Tyrann Mathieu is going to have responsibilities to also call and set up the defense, because he's a rookie. You can't expect him, especially in a defense that is known to be a little more complicated with the calls and people are still having miscommunication issues. I don't think a rookie is ready to take that over. I know that he's drafted for his mental side as well as his ability to get downhill quickly, but it doesn't just come in and you know everything. So I think that that's going to be probably next season is when he's going to be fully ready. At this point, like I said, if he's the starter at middle linebacker, I think that Mathieu will have as much helping him and responsibility at calling the defense than he will.
Okay, so here's the next one, and I really wish I could put this on the screen, Holly. I'm sorry I took too long. But this is from Holly, Miss Holly, as always. So I've become known as Holly Hundo, and I thought I would share the love. She made the super chat $123.45.
Oh, Holly.
1, 2, 3, 4,
1,
5.
2, 3, 4, 5.
I
Holly,
like that.
Thank you.
Yes,
you.
and thank you for the support as always, Miss Holly. Do you think that the receivers, including Kelsey, dropping passes is worse this year than in the past, or does it just seem more noticeable? Not used to seeing Hill drop or Kelsey.
So Hill's actually last year was one of the most some of the most drops in the NFL last year. So I think that they go through games where it's very obvious that they have drops, and some games where maybe it's not so obvious because defenders in the area. But specifically thinking back to the beginning of the Texans playoff game where they had to come back every third down, drop. Like there are some games where you can think about it and you know that they just have lots of drops. I think that a lot of these guys are worried about catching the ball and getting after it and running after the catch. I know Kelsey does it sometimes. I know that Tyreek is thinking about it every time he touches the ball. And all these guys are trying to make things happen after the catch. It comes down to catching the ball and making sure you have it before you start turning your head. That happens a lot.
Yeah, I agree. Do you think Niang lost his job?
I would not say he lost his job, but if what we know about the situation is 100% factual, that it was an injury that forced him out of the starting job last week, then no, he didn't lose his job. But if it wasn't, he probably did.
Yeah, and we won't know until he's healthy. Hopefully we'll see him this week. We'll find out. Hi, Avery. Glad you're here. You guys, I got to hit some questions here pretty fast because we're falling way behind. I didn't realize 20 minutes behind the chat. So I'm just going to hit a couple of these, and then I'll drop one for you. Is Mike Dana the second best D lineman? No, but he's improving. That is still Frank Clark 2, Chris Jones being number 1. This Turk Fair, I don't have the splits in his performance tackle versus end, but no, they should not go back to the 3-4. That will not protect the linebackers who are already beat to hell. So no, that will not work. Do you think that they see Chris against Tennessee? I kind of feel so. What do you think, Dan?
I'm hoping so. I think that you kind of need him against Derrick Henry, and I'm assuming that's why he didn't play yesterday. But we're going to kind of find out this week.
I hope so. Jeremy Olson, I'm proud of Daryl as well, and Dan's happy with him.
Yes.
CJ, do you think Gordon is going to get Bell and Shady McCoy treatment where he never actually becomes a crucial piece of the offense? That's up to Josh Gordon, in my opinion. What do you think?
It is, but I don't believe that's ever going to happen.
Fair enough. Tim Schumann, this is a good question, Dan. Is Whitney Merciless better than the current defensive ends on this roster?
Yes. He would be right behind Frank Clark. If
right
not
behind,
better if not better in pass rush production.
Yeah. Not as good against the run.
No.
Not as powerful, but I think more explosive, and that pays off. So I'm with you there. Zach, how are you? Who's going to keep stopping? Who's going to be key for stopping Derrick Henry, and which players get the big D-line role? What do you think?
Derek Nottie continuing on his awesome success that just continues to get under Harold. He continuously is breaking up runs in the backfield or right at the line of scrimmage. He's going to be a key cog in this whole thing. And then, because he's going to get doubled, Jerron Reed's got to come up big.
Yeah, it is about the two of them. Derek Nottie is the best run defender on this defensive line roster. He's better than Frank Clark. It's not really that close. They just, ends get a spotlight. I'm going to try to pull it up here while we continue to look at the next question that Dan will answer for Bill.
Thank you, Bill. Do you think the Raiders are more of a problem without Gruden? I do not, because the Raiders are just kind of the Raiders. I don't see anything defensively except for Max Crosby, who's having a great season, and their offense is just, it's okay. I know that they have Henry Ruggs, and they're finally starting to use him a little bit more, but they don't scare me up front. Their offensive line's garbage. Their run game is zero. I don't have any worries about that, and kind of plays into exactly what the Chiefs want to do. They want to play pass coverage and kind of force you to run the ball a little bit more than you want to, and the Raiders just aren't very good at it. I know that they're getting more production out of some of the wide receivers this year, and they're doing a little bit more on the offensive side. Derek Carr's playing better. He's more confident throwing the ball downfield. But again, it comes down to, can that defense stop Patrick Mahomes? Nah. And no, I don't think they're a problem either way.
Okay. Jason Streeter, do you feel that Brett Veach deserves some blame for the lack of pass rushing talent at corner, or is it coaching? It's a bit of both, but Brett Veach has certainly made decisions that have not included taking either of those positions, two premier positions at pass rush and cornerback, ahead of things like running back, tight end. No offense, but a fourth-round investment by L'Jarius Sneed was not only good scouting, but it was a little bit of luck as well.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't get the same thing out of the same pick for Kando, did you? Very, very different from the same level of investment. That's a problem. And I think you're going to see that turn around, and they have to realize that if Patrick has to put up 30 every game, you're not really helping him, even though you're trying to concentrate on his offensive roster.
Yep.
Which unit were you happy to see in the second half, offense or the defense, Dan?
The offense. And as much as we have been harping on the defense getting better, I think that they played almost a full game, as much as you can expect from them. And that was good. But I needed to see Patrick Mahomes get confidence back. And that pick before the half, he didn't look confident. That they had been moving the ball and everything. They just kept turning the ball over inside the 30 or the 40 of the Washington footballs. And he didn't have confidence. He played that second half like he has at the peak of his game, making quick decisions, knowing where everyone's coming from, knowing where to go, finding ways to get out of the pocket and rip it downfield. He just looked comfortable. That's what they need to be the most success and the best version of themselves.
Yeah, I'm with you. Folks, if you do get into the memberships, rookie and above, make sure you email me here at rgrpodcasts@gmail.com so that I can get you your invite into the Discord. Discord is our private community for the members here, and you just got to email me. It isn't automatic. The integration with YouTube doesn't work that way. So as much as I wanted it to, they didn't make it easy on me. So it is what it is. Max, is Gore going to see the field? I don't think so, unless something goes drastically wrong. he is kind of like the break glass back right now, I think.
Yeah. If someone
Yeah.
gets hurt, then he'll see the field. But if not, then those guys right now will run it.
Metal Rocker, we are both very happy with the offensive line so far. I
Yep.
think maybe not like, jumping for joy, but I think we're pretty well off here. Chris, who do you think will do versus Julio and Henry? I'm more scared of Henry than Julio right now.
Yep. There's two teams in the NFL that can actually ruin this defense by running the football, and it's the Ravens and it's the Titans. Those two teams are the only ones that can win by running the ball. And yeah, that's the only thing I'm really scared of right now.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate the support. Mr. Big Phil, Niang was hurt. That's why he was replaced. We'll see what happens when he comes back. Jeldrick, Jody Fortson was not re-signed. He's on a 1 year, so IR ends his commitment contractually to the Chiefs. I do believe he will be returned, though. I think they will sign him again. It just, instead of extending him, I think it will just be a single year, and we'll see what happens again. Frank Bowser, that's a good question. Unfortunately, a big part of Chris's game is developed through his hands in beating plays that way. And maybe they were saving him for Derrick Henry. Do you think so, Dan?
I don't think so. I think he's legitimately hurt, and we don't know the extent of the wrist sprain. It can be written down as wrist sprain, but maybe there's more to it because you can get as vague as you want to on these injury reports. You don't have to know the extent of it. So you don't really know. And like you said, most of his work is made by swiping and ripping and swimming. Like all this stuff that requires wrist movement and getting your hands inside of a tackle's chest kind of moves it up and things like that. So I think that he's just been they don't want to stress him too much early in the season.
Yeah. You guys, a lot of questions about Agba. They're not trading for Agba. I would have liked to have seen them stay. They're certainly not going to trade for a guy that they let walk. I will tell you that now.
No.
And Scott, I'm going to address this one because I got a ton of questions about it. And quite frankly, I don't want to talk about it because it's meaningless when it comes to football. And I will explain to you why. Jackson Mahomes is an immature kid. Is he mean-spirited? I have no idea. I've never met him. But what he does not in any way affect Patrick on the field. Just close your eyes and think of your little brother. When he screws off, does it bother you at all? Nah, it has nothing to do with it. It is an annoyance, something I'm sure they're having a conversation about.
Yep.
But it's more like a spanking than anything. So don't even give that any concern. Yeah. Scott, why didn't landlord get Hulk mad sooner? I like that. Hulk mad from 5'9". I like it.
I mean, he's been PO'd like most of the time, but I think he tries to keep himself off of Twitter like that. For sometimes it gets to a certain point for him that it's like a boiling breaking point. He's like, I can't, especially when the same people are doing the same stuff every single week and they continuously come after him and they don't know what's going on. So he sometimes just kind of pops off, and I'm here for it. I love it.
Alan, I don't think Hill is 100% in any way, shape, or form. I know the quad is bothering. I think honestly, something's going on with one of his arms as well. I know he got hit a helmet on an arm a couple of weeks ago. I think that might be some of these pass-through interceptions that are bouncing off of him. I don't know.
If I'm being honest, I thought he got benched after it. I know that we're talking about his quad being injured, but both before and after didn't look mildly even close to affected by it. And specifically on those plays where he catches it and hops backward and forward with both of his legs, that impacts the quads. Didn't seem to harm at all. Didn't seem to hurt him when he, did his gesture in the end zone. That also requires some movement there. So honestly, I think he got benched.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes even star players need a kick in the butt, and you got to refocus. And Andy did talk about focus the other day, so maybe. PETA, I do think that it was simplified. I can't tell you the specifics because I don't know them, but it did look like things were not as pass-off heavy. They didn't do as many deep drops from the slot or stuff. In fact, one of the times that they tried to do it, that's when they screwed up against the tight end. I mean, this is part of the problem.
I think you're seeing that too, yeah.
Michael, they elevated the special teams coach because he's got like 30 years coaching experience, and the team knows that he's been with Gruden for a number of years. So like there was respect there. I think everybody gets a shot. I think that's how John Harbaugh actually got elevated the first time too. So like I don't have any problem with it. I think that's smart of them. I don't think it's going to help them in the end, though, like be a better team. I'm surprised they won this last one, and I don't think they'll win much going forward. Mr. Bigfield, do you think that we have the personnel to be able to stop Henry when he comes to town? What do you think, Dan? Did they get it done?
What do you mean stop? Like if we're talking like comparing it to what they did in the AFC Championship game that year, no. Or I don't think they have that ability anymore. I think that you can keep him under 200 yards. They don't have the personnel to really make an impact unless you play like you're talking about Bear and force them to throw the football. I just don't see them being able to.
If they keep it to 199 or less, that's survivable. If they keep it to 150 and one touchdown or less, then they've done a good job.
Yep.
That's how I'll take it.
That's very good way of putting it.
Terrell, did Juan Thornhill's return to lineup improve the secondary overall as a product of a weak offense from Washington? I'll say it's both. What do you think the percentages are?
It's both. I would say it's a lot of trust. So I'd put it 60-40 in Juan's favor because that trust. And it breeds success when you have a guy who can play underneath your deep safety in Matthew and do a lot of the things that he's able to do and can click downhill. You saw it multiple times him get downhill. If you guys are following me on Twitter, you saw me post a clip of him absolutely demolishing Ricky Seals-Jones, getting him off of his feet. Like these are things that he doesn't do with Dan Sorensen in the lineup. He can't afford to come down because someone's gonna get beat over the top.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Casey Kidd, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. What do you think is next for Jody Fortson? He's going to IR. It means he's still able and connected to the team. He will rehab with the team. My guess is he will have surgery with Dr. Andrews. I think that's who they referred Derek to last time as well. He's out here in Vail, world-renowned, not just American sports, but world-renowned sports medicine surgeon. That is my guess, unless he's got some other lineup that he feels more comfortable with. I haven't heard the severity. As I understand it, it's season ending, but I haven't heard whether it's like a 75% rupture or a complete rupture. When you get a complete rupture, like who was that? Was that Julio? No, who did it a couple of years ago? It literally looks like a softball that rolls up in the back of the calf. I didn't see that at the time, so I'm hopeful it's not that severe. But until we know, we won't know. Do you think they should adapt more run and gun plays? They already go to spread pretty well. They don't run draws out of it enough, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, okay.
Because the way they play, they could take advantage of a lot of dropping linebackers with draws, and they just don't want to.
I don't know why. I mean, especially between Creed and Trey, I think there's plenty there to get the draw game going. Honestly, I think right now draws are a better option than screens, the way they're getting sniffed out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, very much. It's bad. The screens are bad, guys.
Somebody's giving it away, and I cannot for the life of me figure out who it is yet. Oh, it's annoying.
I think McKinnon gave that one away yesterday.
Yeah, okay.
Because the rusher just held on to him the whole time. So that tells me that he was expecting it.
Gotcha. Let's see here. Christian, looks like Nick Bolton's are leading our team with 40 tackles so far. Do you think this is good production considering his draft position? Sure.
I mean, leading the team in tackles is a good thing. Is you want your linebacker to do it, and if he's doing it, I haven't checked the stats on that to be perfectly honest with you. Yeah, that's a good thing. You also want your second round draft pick linebacker to be able to play coverage. I mean, I know we talk down about it a lot, but that's unfortunately the nature of being a second round draft pick at linebacker. You have to be able to do both. And yeah, the good thing that he's being able to adapt himself from the run a little bit better than maybe I had initially thought. But again, you see him moving side to side. You see him get squared up by anyone blocking him. He typically doesn't come off that, and it's unfortunate. But yeah, he's got 40 tackles, so that's for a rookie. It's good for him. That's good.
Better for him than Tyron to have that many.
Yes.
I'll tell you. And I'll tell you this too, you guys. Whenever you hear me talk about a prospect, you heard Dan and I talk about it all last offseason during the draft cycle. When I tell you this guy should be here, if Nick Bolton was selected in the 80s where I had him, I would be perfectly comfortable with what he was doing. I wouldn't have the expectations that he would play better on the pass side of it. He would have more room to grow, is the way that I put it. And that's about where you make those selections. Madman, I just like the way that you put that.
That's nice.
Yeah, right. Okay, I'm going to let you hit this one. I'm going to change up my battery.
Gotcha. Thank you, Scott, for the question. Trey Smith looked like a beast yesterday. Any thoughts on how his ceiling can be? So Trey Smith has all the fundamentals now after he worked with Duke Manyweather in the offseason and has gotten into Andy Heck's hands to be an all-pro guard. He has all the tools. He's got better footwork. He has better balance. He has the strength. He has the size. He has the tenacity, which is something he always had. And Trey Smith 100% has the ceiling to be an all-pro guard in the NFL. It's going to be about other guards, whether they come out and things like that. But yes, I do believe that his ceiling is really astronomical. It always was if he was able to get some of these things figured out and being able to see him, work through it. And he turned the corner. We all talked about it in the offseason, how I evaluated him. And then I did that whole video on things that changed since he was drafted. And the turnaround has been dramatic. It's been impressive. He's been incredible.
Thank you. I appreciate you letting me do that, folks. Even though the cameras are nice, they still run on batteries. So, Bradley, thank you for the super chat. Mahomes' current MVP odds at 1,600 plus. Just letting everyone know so they can place a bet. Odds are this won't happen, but he'll be an MVP fave again soon. And I will tell you guys this: if you do want to do that, go to betonline.ag. They actually sponsor the Locked On show.
Yep.
And you can get an extra $50 back when you sign up. That the code is Locked On itself. So give that a shot.
Man, those are some odds.
If Odell asks for a trade, do you think Veach jumps at it like a hungry lion? Odell Beckham?
I don't. Yeah, they're talking about Odell Beckham. No,
not in a million years.
I can't put my finger on it, but he just doesn't work anymore. But he's a fine player. He still gets open, but for some reason, the offense does not function with it.
Yeah, it's like there's a personality problem there or something. I don't know. You tell me.
It's almost.
Metal. These rumors are coming from websites that don't know a damn thing. This is fan made up BS. And if you watch that channel, whatever they're called, I don't even remember, with the guy, the stuff that doesn't even know the team, you're wasting your time. I'm just going to tell you that. Chiefs will not trade for Manuel Agba. I'll tell you that right now.
Nope.
Mays would be interesting, but they can't afford to do it. And quite frankly, they can't afford to put him on the field and take either Tyron or Matthew away from the way that Spags runs this defense. He might be an off-season acquisition. It is not anytime soon.
Yeah.
Are you confident that Thornhill should be? Confident? No, I don't trust Spags to change.
Oh, I'm very confident. When you play him 100% of the snaps and he looks fine, I'm confident he's going to be the starting safety going forward, especially the way the defense played. I'm confident.
I hope you're right. I know. I so hope you're right. This is a great one, Don, and I thank you for asking it. I want you to go first, Dan, because this is a tough one for me.
Okay, so what we're seeing right now has been closer to Favre. He's much more closer to Rodgers in what we've seen as a total because he doesn't turn the ball over that much. Right now, we're seeing an aberration in the turnovers. Favre was just I'm throwing it up, nothing you can do about it. But if you watch the way Mahomes plays, he typically throws it to open guys. He doesn't like to throw it into 50-50 situations. Now, whether that's by design or it's also Andy Reid scheming players up, it's a little bit different offense because Brett Favre was like, yeah, he's got somebody on him. I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care. Like Mahomes has the decisiveness and the ability to see open players and knows that, especially now with that second of separation or that half yard of separation, that player's open if they're not covered. Not like, oh, that safety's right there. Yeah, I'm gonna throw it anyway. They're different players. So. Avery.
I think there's a little bit more of Favre in him than you see because I think this interception string is partially due to luck, partially due to Favre had a star in Sterling. Right. Obviously, there's a star in Tyreek Hill. But I think there's a little bit more of chuck it and go for it in Patrick, especially as he's gotten all the accolades and he's laid his groundwork. I think he's a little more apt to take chances, but I think that will pull back a little bit in the end. I think he will be Rodgers in more of a comparison when we get to the end of his career.
Yeah, collegiately speaking, he was Brett Favre.
Yeah, right.
He didn't have a choice though.
Very true. And I think Mr. Big Phil was asking about that too. And Stevie, you put it absolutely right. They don't have a choice right now. They have to play Juan.
Yeah.
If they tried to bring in someone like Marcus Banks, There's an uptick there, and it's how do you play him? Because he's not a true free safety, in my opinion. I think he's more of a tweener.
Yeah, he's definitely a tweener.
But then in the offseason, if you don't work it out with Tyron, then that might be more of an option, in my opinion.
It opens things up because he's, like I said, he's not Matthew, but he does some of the things that he brings, and that tweener position is kind of important for what Spags wants defensively. The way that they've worked out three safeties, they have to have that tweener player, and Thornhill is going to be your free safety, period. And then you can kind of work things out that way. So I'm obviously hoping to see Matthew back.
Julian, hope you're doing well, bud. Glad you're back. Pizza. Do you think Fenton and Gay get more reps from here on in? I want them to. Dan,
Fenton played 100% of the snaps, if I'm not mistaken. Like that's yeah. So he's going to be getting those snaps.
I'm just worried Ward walks back in and they say, "Hey, Hughes, you still have your job."
I don't think that's going to happen. I think that I'm hoping this self-reflection process that they've had to undergo this first 6 weeks of the season has shown them, play our best players. Let's play our best players. What an idea. What a concept, right? So, yes, I'm hoping that it's rubbed off a little bit.
I will tell you guys this, too. It's not just being oblivious to play your best players. It's also the fact that this team under Andy Reid is very specifically got a plan for every player. And it's when they have to jump out of that plan. Like they wanted to ease Willie in last year. He could have taken on more than they gave him. They want to ease him back in now after the injury. They need to play him more. Changing the plan, I think, is part of the hang-up with some of these decisions.
Yep.
Julian, what do you got, buddy? Question for both of you. Off-season question. How much money will it save by releasing Hitchens and Clark? 28.6. I think it's
like almost $30 million. So
yeah,
both of them be gone. They're going to be gone.
I mean, if you could get Frank to have a nice 3 or 4 sack game and trade him before the deadline, that'd be great. I don't think it's going to happen.
That's not happening.
No. Outside the fumble, Hardman had a pretty good game. I agree. And I think maybe 2 games back-to-back where he shows tenacity, and I think that will help him grow too.
Should have taken it outside. He cut up too early that time.
Yeah. That's all right. You learn.
Yeah.
Max, can we work out a deal for Howard for Miami, or is that high hopes? That's way high hopes, bro.
And he's also he's injured right now, so
but I would love to get him at a discounted price and wait for a couple of weeks, but they don't have the room to even do that, you guys.
No.
I mean, they would have to trade Frank Clark to do it. Nobody's taking Frank Clark.
No one's taking that contract. No one's
not even the Dolphins. Holly, you nailed it. Daryl, sorry I showed up late. Give me some good news about the defense against the Titans. We're hopeful that Chris Clark, Chris Jones should be back. We're hopeful that Frank will play like Frank Clark. Jaron Reed actually gave me some optimism that, he can be challenged and he will respond. He isn't just in it for the money, and Seattle didn't get rid of him because he wasn't putting out. It does sound like he needs a bit more fire than he used to applied to him, not coming from within. But the nice thing is that Turk Warden outplayed Saunders last week. And played well. So it gives you a rotation where you can play Saunders off the ball if you have to, especially goal line. I'm not even kidding about this, you guys. I think goal line in particular with Henry, you got to do that. And now you're kind of forced to send Bolton, blitz Neiman. Neiman's okay against the blitz. If you give him one thing to do, he's okay.
Yeah.
And I think those 3 things, if they buckle down and they actually stay in the base, and that's something the teams have been trying to do. They've been trying to get them in base because they can exploit them in the past. Well, this team wants them in base, and they think that they can run on them. If they can take that away, that'll shut down a lot of that Titan offense.
Confidence. They finally have some confidence. That's going to help them play better, period.
I agree. When Brown was side, no one said he was going to touch. He said no one was going to touch Mahomes from his side of protection. What do you think of him so far?
Yeah, I mean, he's got to say that, right? He's going to try to be the franchise left tackle. He's played, as you can expect, a guy who came from the Baltimore Ravens offense to a completely different, fundamentally sound offense in terms of what he's doing with his drops. So he looks best attacking defensive ends just because he doesn't have to wait for him so much. He does a better job of jumping on him. But like I said, like Ryan said earlier, he's going to look better when he's probably in 4 to 5 more weeks. I think you're going to see him at his best. The best is yet to come.
I agree with you. It is a comfort thing.
Yep.
And honestly, it may be allowing him to go back to some things that he did before as well. That's on Andy Heck, and I don't know how they're going to handle it. Let's see. Scott, is it me or Spags hasn't got the timing down when to blitz? Spags, it's not that he doesn't have the timing down. He's been a little bit Spagsy. He's been a little predictable about when he's going to send guys. Is that a term, or did I just make that up?
I mean, for me, Spagsy means just like crazy stuff. So I would say,
okay, fair enough.
That typically was not right.
Seeing Fenton block Diggs and McLaurin makes me think Spags is confident in Fenton. Yeah, I mean,
I'd say so.
He's made plays for them, you guys. He had an interception wiped out by Frank Clark's penalty. Like, he's still making plays. It's just that he's not a burner. He can get beat deep, and sometimes that happens. Everybody can. The only guy that can turn and run with just about anybody in this league is L'Jarius Sneed.
I mean, he still ran pretty well with a couple of guys in this game, so it's not like he's just like a bum who can't recover. I think he's a fundamentally sound player, which is not something I said coming out of college. I could tell you that he was not fundamentally sound, but he's gotten it down, and they're letting him flourish doing what he does best. So yeah, I think they're confident in him playing because he's been the second best corner on this team.
Take Julian's. I want to look something up real quick.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for the question, Julian. We need more runs in the A gaps. The fullback down the throats, running behind Creed is where we have success. So you're not wrong. The margin for error is a little bit more so because even with Clyde and Daryl, you're running a fullback up there. It allows the middle linebackers and linebackers to crash a little bit more. With Daryl specifically, he doesn't set up those second level defenders. So if you're asking them to draw more attention to where Daryl wants to run, that's where you're going to meet those 2-3 yard gains. With Clyde, maybe a little bit more because he can set him up. But again, you're also asking players to deal with more pressure because when a fullback comes in and they're just running up the middle, guys can crash and come back from behind and things like that. So while I don't disagree with the way they do it, I think that, with the idea, I think they should do it a different way and run draws up the A gaps.
I'm with Julian 100%. Run like Burton at him all day long.
Help put
Saunders in there in front of Burton, in front of Daryl, and you'll make me happy.
There you go.
Full backfield. Michael Shea, I wanted to look this up because we talked about this, and Dan and I both felt we could put Fenton at safety if we had to in the preseason. And he did get 5 snaps where he was lined up as not a corner. Little bit like it's one of those condensed formations where he actually becomes technically a linebacker according to where they chart it, but he playing a safety position. Yeah. He's got that versatility. Right now they need him at the outside corner though, and I think that's where he's probably going to be the most.
Yep.
Okay. All right. At least Phil liked it. That's one. I know I'm strange, you guys. It's okay. Bad man. Who has more upside, Brown or Niang?
Brown.
Agreed. Oh, not that one, but yes, this one. If you check out the other shows too, I would appreciate that, you guys. If you remember, make sure email me at this rgrpodcast@gmail thing. Tony, will you give a first, second round for Calvin Ridley? Will be Mahomes Express all game because Ridley can run routes and go deep.
I'm not of the opinion to give up for wide receivers. Wide receiver drafts are going to be so deep. They're going to be continuously deep because of 7-on-7 leagues. Guys are getting younger. They're getting better at route running earlier in their lives. And it's just showing in drafts. You can get guys just about anywhere that can run routes. So I won't give up anything for Calvin Ridley as much as I love the player. I just think draft capital can be better spent elsewhere.
Yeah, fair enough. Aaron, thank you for that one. If you guys would do that, smashing the thumbs does help us, helps other people, other Chiefs fans find us too. So that's always a challenge. We're going to wrap it up here in a second, you guys. Evan, do you think Tyreek is resigning? He's putting a lot of cryptic social media posts. That's how negotiations go. I do think he does resign. Do you, Dan?
You guys remember Chris Jones stuff? He was out with Le'Veon Bell talking about that kind of stuff too. They got it signed. I don't think this is anything. I think that you're seeing exactly what Ryan's talking about. It's just cryptic. He's just trying to say, hey, you guys, you want me to be in Kansas City, right? You want me to be in Kansas City. I want to be in Kansas City, but I'm going to make it seem like I don't.
Right. I'm going to make you come get me. It is what it is. JPF, imagine how good the Chiefs would be if Veach only drafted on day 3. They'd be Alabama or Akron.
I was about to say they wouldn't be Alabama.
If you only draft on day 3, you're not getting any blue chip players. I will tell you this though, they do need to do a better job in the second round. The second round's been problematic overall in Veach's tenure. I can understand where they go sometimes, but they fall in love a little bit more for my liking. Brett, I would love to help you out. I'm available for consulting. I can help you have a little bit of, maybe you don't want to go there in the room. Okay. I'm just saying.
This is a 2-man package deal. I'm also available.
right. Rogue Analytics and consulting teams. I just want you guys to know that. Crazy dudes. As Mahomes regressed on his screen check down ability, 2018 to 20 looked much better timing. Do you think he's focused on the big plays?
I think he's felt a little bit more with this defense specifically that he had to push a little bit more. I think you saw better decision making yesterday. 8 targets to the running backs in the flats yesterday. That's more of what they're trying to look for. So I think that has changed and will change going forward.
Pater, there's a lot of folks that feel like this. I know Dan doesn't, and quite frankly, I love Darryl, but he needs to be the second back as well. If for nothing else, then you made the mistake, in my opinion, of going out and drafting a running back in the first round. You have to play him, period. There's no other justification.
No, and that's something else that I'll get into later.
Yeah, I'm sure that you will. You guys do not want to miss Wednesday. Holly, thank you very much. Brett, if you're listening, you have my number. I've sent you too many things for you not to have it. So that's going to wrap it up for tonight, folks. I hope that you had fun. We certainly did.
Thank you guys so much.
Dan, thanks for all that you do. And now that you are taking over streams, I think everybody's very happy for it. So well done.
We're going to have fun. That's all I got to say. And Wednesday will be live question answer with the film breakdowns. I'm excited. I hope you guys join me. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. And I'll just leave you with this. Alex, I sometimes go to sleep saying this. So have a good